So yes, you've never done a podcast before. That's kind of
No.
our claim to fame. We get a lot of people,
Repeats. People have
first
done it.
timers.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm gonna try not to chew my gum that I have in my mouth. It's just so yummy. No, we bring a lot of people, but I mean, the premise behind the podcast. I mean, we're not trying to be Joe Rogan. We're not trying to be viral, millions of listeners. It's really just for like Warren, Washington, and Saratoga County, right? So if we get 5,000 people listening to the podcast, like, freaking amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Amazing.
That's what we're looking for. We're not trying to get 7 million listens and all that other stuff. So it's really just about educating people about other people in the community that they may not have the opportunity to run into and learn about and see what they're about. And
It's great.
go from there.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess, if it works.
If it works.
We have, and I will actually apologize to everybody listening. We're still the podcast studio. I'm converting the garage to a podcast studio, and we're not out there yet. So we're in the house, and my son is in the other room, so he may all of a sudden
all right.
burst onto the scene. But
I got a 6-year-old too, so
yeah,
I understand that.
You know full well.
Yeah.
What the hell were we talking about?
I don't know.
Zoned, right?
Yeah, the zone.
That's my job. I'm supposed to know what we're
I
talking
don't know.
about.
Yeah,
Man. Well, listen, why don't we, for the listeners, for the kids at home, why don't you introduce yourself, who you are, what you do?
Okay. My name is Travis Solimanto. I'm the owner and operator of Mr. T's Total Home Care, which is like a handyman service. Pretty much do everything that you can imagine. So,
Do you pity the fool?
I pity the fool.
Only some of you will understand that joke. No gold chains. I don't see any gold chains.
I haven't showed up though.
Man.
So, yeah, the Mr. T's thing, my sister actually helped me come up with it. It was simple, and it just stuck. And I was like, I just named myself that. Had nothing, celebrity-wise having to do with it.
Yeah.
But I figured maybe the baby boomers, which are most of my clientele, would know what that is, and they find it funny a little bit.
I bet they do.
yeah.
I bet they do. I think it's
It
great.
works. Yeah.
And actually, before we get into really anything deep, I just wanted to welcome our newest community partner, the team over at Greenwood Hoff Wealth Management. They just jumped on board. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate your support coming on board as community partners with Glens Falls Business Report and Saratoga Business Report. Look around for those newest issues that are out today, actually. So thanks for coming on board, guys. Really appreciate it. And, of course, thanks to all of our community partners. Performance Industrial, RESP Incorporated. Who else we got in the community partner realm? So many people, so many great people. We've got some new people coming on too. So, and you'll hear some other mentions as the episodes go on. So thanks everybody for your support. So Trav, let's talk about who you are. So let's give everybody a little bit of background on you, other than kicking Josh Coons's butt on the bike and the swim and the run and all those things that you do. Just kidding, Josh.
No.
Where would we be without Josh Coons?
Absolutely.
I mean,
Wouldn't be doing this.
big shout out to Josh
Joshy,
Coons
yes.
from AdNet Technologies. So give everybody a background. So what'd you do before Mr. T's?
So I actually started working in the service industry. So I actually work with people with developmental disabilities. Actually, I still do. I still do that full time for the state, 3 days a week.
So Mr. T's is a side hustle for you too?
Yeah.
That's a
full-time
full-time side hustle.
Side hustle. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, well, I keep both jobs because one, I actually have my benefits.
Okay.
I have retirement there, so I just, I stick with it. I've been there 20 years as of June.
Wow.
So, that's amazing in itself.
Yeah.
I love what I do. I still love, helping others. So that was the premise of me starting Mr. T's so I'll back up even farther. 17 years ago, I got my first apartment building. And I didn't know how to screw things in, But when you buy an old building, you figure things out very quickly.
Sure.
And you learn and, teach yourself. You start talking to other people's in the profession. And eventually you decide, what direction you're going to go. So I started doing, lots of care. I also bought other houses that needed prefab or fabrications and stuff. Foreclosures, those sort of things. So when you by them. You have to figure out when you're knocking walls out if you're going to be able to do that, and then be able to construct them. And anyways, so you start meeting a lot of people, a lot of faces, and then after that, you kind of from that point on, you kind of be able to walk into other situations where you want to be able to help people. So that's where about 6 years ago, I really decided that it was before COVID. I had an investor come up to me, a family member, and they wanted to buy houses. They knew I could, I daffled and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I was actually in school for nursing, which is another thing in itself. So I was 3 years into nursing school. And then I started working on houses that were foreclosed on, gutting them completely, and just working in there by myself until other people eventually would, have to hold up certain things or whatever.
Yeah,
but, there's long boards or,
hanging sheetrock on ceilings by yourself
is hard.
Sucks.
And you have to figure out how to do that. And that's kind of the name of the game. I've hired people. Doesn't usually work out very well. That's kind of why I work for myself, by myself.
How many times do you think you were hanging a piece of sheetrock and trying to use like a 2x4 and do that whole deal?
A bracket. Oh yeah. To hook it up, and then I, there's all sorts of techniques, if you will, to do that. Some don't work out well.
Oh my God. I have to tell you, I was literally, so I had a house in Glens Falls, and I was living in it while doing the renovations, and I was literally trying to hang a piece of sheetrock one day, and I'm standing like on I can't say I was standing on a ladder. I was like standing like on a ladder, but also a 5-gallon bucket that was upside down, and I had a piece of sheetrock, and I was trying to like have it on my back and hold it up and do this whole thing. And there's a 2x4 holding one end up, and my buddy walks in, he just starts laughing. He's like, "Bro, they make lifts, right? Like lifts. You could actually just rent a lift from Lowe's." And I was like, "They do?" Because again, the same thing. Like I didn't know what the hell I was doing.
No,
I probably still don't know what I'm doing, but
so
funny.
That's just kind of it. Like you kind of learn a lot of this stuff along the ways. You watch a lot of YouTube. You talk to a lot of people. You get your hands dirty. Yeah. I mean, there's certain situations I walk into, and I'll be like, I can take on that project. And sometimes you're like, I hope I can take on that project after you took it, and you have to do the scope and kind of design everything the way they want it. And you're hoping at the end they're like, that looks beautiful.
That they're stoked.
They're stoked. But yeah, I mean, that's, kind of how I got started.
I didn't realize that you were still more full-time in the other job. Holy moly. I thought you had made the complete jump over to Mr. T's.
A lot of people
Good for you.
Yeah. A lot of people are like, "You're still doing that?" And I'm like, I am, because it has, certain benefits in life that I can get paid for. And honestly, it helps, my goals in line later on in life. I'm hoping, I'm 41. So,
nice.
I'm hoping I can kind of, keep this steam and keep pushing forward.
I mean, I definitely, I'm probably working between the farm and 5 Towers. I'm probably doing 80 hours pretty easily.
There you go.
Each week, and
you don't even feel it, probably. So, because it's normal. Right?
It is just normal now. Yeah, for sure. Although I will say, like, just recently with some changes that we've made, it's like, it used to be there was a couple hours in there, like normally, like by dinner time, I'd kind of start settling out. But now I'm like dinner time and then back on the laptop until 9:30, whatever it is. But
yeah,
you gotta occupy your time doing something. Might as well make some money.
Might as well make money and caring for people. Like I love what I do on both things. It's different.
Well, it sounds that way. Everything that you have been up to is all about caregiving.
Absolutely. That's the goal right now in life. And that's what I wanted to do as a nurse.
Yeah.
But that got kiboshed because, honestly, COVID, and then I had a newborn. And
life.
You have to roll with it.
Life happens.
You can either get stuck or, just keep pushing forward. So that was the natural progression. So here I am.
So tell us a little bit about, wait, hold on a second. I have to ask this question. So, how are you this is going to be a question everybody's got, right? How do you juggle the 2 full-time positions?
One's a set schedule.
Okay.
So that's my other work. So it's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and they're 12 to 14 hour shifts. And they're at night. So they're, they're overnights. And then I still work during the day, Monday and Tuesday, my other job. But that particular job actually allows me to sleep up to so many hours.
Okay.
As long as the clients are
Everything's
asleep.
happening.
As long as it's, but I, try my best. And it's hard to sleep in not your home or not your bed.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know about the quality of sleep.
And waiting for something to happen.
Yeah. And then you have to, pass meds and you have to care for their needs as well. And you have to be, ready to go.
Yeah. It's not like you get my morning when I get up at 4 and I come down and I grab the coffee and you got to be right on.
Oh, yeah. And but it's normalized now. So I'm able to do that just because I've made it part of my regime, what I do every day, my cycle. So and then the other part, the Mr. T's, I have a lot of repeat business. So I already kind of know what I need to do week to week for most of it. I mean, I'm always trying to find more clients. I'm always trying to do that to the best of my ability. I don't need much to sustain. So I don't advertise. It's not very expensive for me, if anything. I do use a Thumbtack.
The app.
Yeah. And a lot of people look me up on there if they have any questions or, want any feedback or any of those sort of reviews, I just send them my thing and they can look up everything I've done and they're like, oh, okay, you are normal.
You're right.
Because I get that a lot too, But yeah.
That's interesting that you're normal. I guess it's a weird world we're in, so I guess there's probably some weirdos out there.
Yeah,
I have to assume too. We were just talking on. I might be getting two podcasts confused because we have our blue collar podcast, Blue Collar Startup, where we
a lot going on.
Yeah, I know. Well, and again, you got to occupy your time doing something, right? And again, I don't know that I'm a caregiver like you are, but I will say that, our mission as a company is to give unwavering support to small business owners and entrepreneurs, right? And
it's kind of a caregiver, man.
I mean, I guess in a way,
to the community.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely any way that we can help small business owners and entrepreneurs. It's like, we're going to do it, whether we're getting paid. Like I say this all the time, help does not mean you're paying me. Help just means that we're going to do something to help you grow your business. And if at some point you're able to pay, we'll accept those checks, but it doesn't rule you out. I hate to hear that, the barrier to entry because of someone getting on a podcast or an article done or whatever it is, that the barrier to entry is money. Yeah. I mean, it's the gas that makes the bus go, but I still think everybody should be on the bus. So it's,
one of my friends, owns a really big plumbing company, and he's like, if you want to play, you got to pay, eventually. And it's like, so how big do I want to become? I'm not sure yet. Honestly, I don't have a vision for that, but I do want to grow, and I would like to find other people to do that. But right now I'm enjoying just kind of, doing my own thing and for myself and having even my son helps me with certain projects. He's 6. But he comes and people ask about him, my clients, because I have 36 people that I kind of care for throughout they're elderly, most of them, but some people are actually younger. So some of the clientele are from 20 to 30. Yeah. Because they don't, most of the 20 and 30-year-olds that I've dealt with, they don't know how to really do very much.
Oh, no. Well, that's what I was going to say. We were just talking about this on either on this show or on Blue Collar, but I'm pretty sure it was Blue Collar, is that right now we've got this crazy thing that's happening with most of the people that 25 years ago, to interrupt myself, 25 years ago, most people knew how to do simple carpentry, plumbing, electrical. Yeah, so there's I forget what the percentage is, but it is a monstrous, 60 or 70% of the current blue collar workforce is going to retire in the next 10 years. And there's no replacement for those people. There's the people coming up that know how to do sheetrock, that know how to do plumbing, know how to do electrical, know how to frame, know how to do simple carpentry. That's not a skill that everybody has anymore. And so anyone that's in the trades at this point, businesses, there's going to be absolutely no want for. I mean, it makes me want to get out of marketing and go back into trades.
Looking for a job. Looking for, 20 more hours?
I know, yeah, right. Yeah. Well, let's see. I sleep about 5 hours a night, so if I brought that down to 2 hours.
Jeez.
So yeah, there's so much work that is available now, and we have a new client that we're just onboarding right now, Shaw DeBorg over at Symmetric Electric, actually. I was actually asking you if you ever use an electrician, and it's Shaw.
Okay.
So he's new to the area.
I would love his information.
Yeah, I'll definitely connect it to you. He's a good dude.
Yeah.
But I totally forgot where I was going with that.
About the 20 and 30-year-olds?
Oh, just like there's just so much work out there in the trades, and there's going to continue to be even more.
Yes.
It's
not that right now it's nonstop for me, because it is. I mean, I'm actually going, finally, after 15 years, we're going on a little vacation, which is great, right? So I've kind of, a little bit tucked it down a little bit. But what I was going to basically say is that, it's just endless, the amount of phone calls and the people needing help. Yeah. And it's everywhere, anywhere,
Yeah.
And like I said, I usually just post on Nextdoor, Facebook,
Yeah.
a few places. And I would love to see more people wanting to do something like this with me, it'd be great. But, there's not many people can fix things or know what to do to get into the business, So I have a lot of my own I have a lot of tools, you acquire things after building houses, so you have to have all these things. I have an enclosed trailer, and
yeah, that's nice.
It's very nice.
I'm definitely jealous of the enclosed trailer.
And I put shelves in it. It's very organized. It's very, I know where everything is. I have electrical bins and, all these things. Yeah.
It's funny. Years ago, I had a property management company, and it started out because I was a real estate broker, and I had my own rentals. So similar to you, right? And so I had my own rentals, and I would do my own work, and I do my own renting, and I didn't really have any issues. I had like 4 or 5 buildings. And but I had clients that were buying multifamilies, and they had nothing but issues. So they're like, "Oh, do you think you could do this?" So
to property manage and find people?
Yeah, to do all of it, right? So it started out with just renting and leasing, and then it turned into evicting, and then it turned into doing repairs, and then it turned into cleaning, and it turned into snow removal and lawn care. And so next thing you know, you've got like
full-time job
all the time, right? and employees and all the things that go along with it. And it was really... It's whenever I talk about it, I always laugh, because as a landlord and property manager, I was managing between 70 and 100 units at any given time, and it was like nonstop. So like every Saturday morning, my phone would ring, and it would be some tenant, and it was always the same couple of buildings. There'd be a tenant. Oh, hey Mike, my toilet hasn't worked since Tuesday.
Yeah, why didn't you tell me on Tuesday?
That's what I'd be like. Oh, Saturday morning. I'm just trying to hang out. At the time, I had 2 young kids. And I was like, why didn't you call me on Tuesday?
Because it's all backed up too.
Yeah, they've been using it all week.
It's been piling up.
It's amazing. After years, I'm trying to think. I think I did that for 4 years, and then I finally was like, I'm done. Yeah. And I was so burnt out from it. I got rid of all my buildings. I got rid of all my clients. Actually, my assistant at the time, I ended up just working a deal out with her so that she essentially bought the company from me and took it over. And but I sold all my tools.
Oh.
Actually, Josh Coons, since we brought him up earlier, Coons, I think he still has like the mower and the backpack blower.
I saw him using it the other day.
It was like over 10 years ago. He still has them. And I got rid of all the stuff. I'm like, I'm never going to mow another lawn. I'm never going to fix another whatever. And now
I know. Well,
and now I'm on the farm, and now all I do is that kind of shit. So
well, you honestly probably like it, but not like it's someone else's problem.
Well, and it started me working on my own stuff, and I really enjoyed doing my own stuff. But as soon as it became a job and doing it for other people, it changes the game, man.
It does.
Like I know. Just how you view it, the pressure, are they going to like it? Like
all the things come into play.
Yeah.
And I deal with that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Like, how do you deal with that?
Well, I run.
That's true. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I run, I work out, I take care of I try to as much as I can without, I feel like as of I mean, I'm not right now, but
Yeah.
the sickness everyone's been getting.
Oh my God.
Especially I've been getting from a school. It's all coming home, So I'm trying to get back. Anyways, running is, real big. Mental health.
Yeah.
I love skiing, like with Josh. I don't know, but anyways, just trying to do things like, visually stimulating. Read a book. I don't know, whatever. You know what I mean? Any
Just
way to
something
kind of, separate yourself from that. Also, I think telling the people up front what the expectation is, that's huge.
Sorry, everyone. Just a quick disruption, but why don't I just take this quick moment to thank our other community partners?
Yes, let's.
So we've got Cerrone Plumbing and Heating, based out of and air conditioning, based out of Queensbury, New York. We also have Bob Fitch, State Farm Agency, Nourishing Minds Tutoring Services. So thank you, everyone, for your support of the podcast and of our print publications. Really appreciate it. So before I interrupted, because I had to talk to my son again for like the 800th time during this episode, which is not normally an issue, but today it seems to be.
Yeah, no.
So where were we?
Just how do I keep it together, kind of.
Yes.
Right? So I think a lot of it comes from also having a bigger, like trying to get something else out of it in life, right? Trying to save up. I'm trying to save up for a camp. I have a bigger picture in mind that I want to be able to, a place where I can have my family, call, fishing and, call our own, and, also a lot of it, I love helping people. I really do. I genuinely.
I think that's obvious, right?
I really, it's something I'm very passionate about. I don't know. Those are the things.
Those are the things, yeah.
I try to really keep it simple and,
And still have time for the family stuff and all the things, right?
Yeah, I don't try to work on the weekends. I try to, Saturday is our family day, Sunday, most of the time, but Saturday and some of Sunday, but you have to have that time to connect, but you plan things also with your family. I do. You do. I'm sure everyone does. You got to plan things. You got to, look forward, and especially we're both busy. She works full time, so, and he's
you pretty much have to work. It's so hard. I had a meeting this morning. We were talking about just how expensive everything is. And I'm like, we both work. Legitimately, we both work two jobs, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
And
you guys are insanely busy.
Yeah, but it's not just us though. I think you almost have to be in order to afford to live right now. Things are so expensive.
$20 bill is a $100 bill now.
Yeah.
You go to the grocery store, it's $300.
Oh my God.
Where did that go? We didn't get very much.
I went and got stuff for nachos the other day.
And
I spent like $80.
Yeah, you're shoveling through.
A pound of hamburger, a bag of lime Tostitos, cheese, onion, jalapeno, and I'm like $80. I'm like, what the hell just happened?
This really special nachos.
I could have gone to. Well, yeah, they're really.
They were really good though.
But it's crazy how expensive everything is, or just how repairs.
Yeah.
Look at material costs.
Oh yeah.
We just had to raise a bunch of rates on things that we do because our costs have gone up so much.
Yeah.
And our costs have gone up and because of so many reasons, but one of them is just because we have to make sure that we're paying our team a wage that they can live off.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's so we need to pay them more, and so we have to charge more, and it's a vicious cycle.
It's another reason why I have that second job.
Yeah.
It's just sustainable. That's my sustainable income. Mm-hmm. The other money I make from Mr. T's, I really just put it away. I do have an apartment building,
nice,
and we've owned it for almost 18 years.
Wow.
And but only one. And I wish I had 10, but then again, maybe I don't. I don't know after your story. Now it's kind of nice to be able to kind of wash my hands of things in a sense. I go over to people's houses and.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I looking back at it, because Kristen has a building that she still owns, apartment building.
Yeah.
Sarah, you've done some work for her over there. Looking back at it, I wish I still had my buildings.
Of course.
My first one that I bought in, I want to say it was 2000 and Oh, geez. See, my daughter was born 2005 today, actually. Happy birthday, Dalen. She's 20 today. Unbelievable.
Happy birthday.
But yeah, I want to say that she was born 2005. I think I bought my first building in 2003 and or maybe 2004. I can't remember now. It's been so damn long, 20 years ago. I bought my first building for $85,000.
I imagine it would be paid off or close to it.
It would be close to pay off. It cash flowed. I want to say that at that point in time, it was cash flowing, or it was grossing rents was like probably $1,500 or $1,600. It would probably be grossing closer to $4,000 a month right now.
Yeah. So to go back, was that the building I was going to buy from you way back when, over by Poopies?
No, that was a different building. Okay. But I did wish I still had that building as well.
Or the live-in tenant or whatever. Remember that lady? Yeah.
Oh my God. Dawn upstairs.
Yeah. I think there was some attached, like you're like, but it comes with this living.
It comes with Dawn, yeah.
It comes with Dawn. She's very nice. I mean, I was just like, anyways.
I have some stories. If I ever write a book, Dawn's going to be in that book.
Oh my God. Chapter.
She'll have a couple chapters. I have got some hilarious stories that I will not tell on the air right now about Dawn. But holy moly, a couple of the things that like the weirdest, craziest situations I think I've ever been in my life were when I was a landlord / property manager.
Sure.
Like,
I got them. I have them.
Oh, I know. I'm sure you do.
I've gotten phone calls. Travis, the floor is moving. Okay. Let's go. You know, is that an emergency? You want me to come down and take a look at that? You know, stuff like that. You know, I mean, it gets worse.
Was the floor moving?
It was. I don't know. I have no idea. I couldn't determine that. But you know, I don't think she was of right of mind. You know. So, but God. Tenants. Yeah.
It's absolutely. Did I ever tell you the story about when I during that time? This is. Being a business owner, like you said earlier, people ask you to do something and you're like, yeah, I'll figure it out, right?
Yeah. And I will.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think that every entrepreneur and business owner does that at some point, especially in the beginning when you're hungry, you want to build a business, you want to do the things, you don't want to say no to anybody, and you want to get paid, right? You're trying to make money, like you're trying to put food on the table. So you're like, what do you need? I will do it. So at one point in time, when I had my property management company, one of my tenants was complaining about their garbage service. So I was like, I'll do it. And because I'm like, man, there's so much money in trash.
Oh, wow.
Right?
You mean you're going to be the service person?
Oh, yes. So I started, I became a trash company, but couldn't afford one of those big trucks. Okay. So what I did was I had a Toyota Tundra and I built a box on the Toyota Tundra.
Yeah.
That was, I could put it on and off.
That's great.
Right? So once a week, I'd throw that thing on there. And at that point in time, I had a couple of employees. So I didn't even have to go and grab the trash. These guys would go and do it.
Yeah.
It was great. So we did it for like maybe a year. And I want to say, I don't know, I probably had 50 accounts that were paying me $20 a month. Right? And so what we do once a week, we'd load up the truck, take it over to Hiram Hollow.
Yeah.
Out it goes. Pay my weight and I'm gone, right? Yeah. And it wasn't like, obviously I wasn't putting anybody through college on that, but I was making a few $100s a month on it after my expenses. And you add it and I was like, I'm going to grow this thing. It's going to be huge. I mean, there's guys out there that have built $100 million companies.
Garbage is good,
right?
It's always coming.
So we did it, I don't know, maybe a year. And then the garbage pickup right after Christmas.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, my guys called in sick. So I was like, I'll just go and do it. Right?
Oh, my God.
So I go out doing this by myself. It was cold and like sleety, rainy. Like it was like kind of one of those days. Yeah. And I'm...
Changed your mind.
I'll tell you, so literally probably halfway through, and I had to end up having to do 2 runs because there was just so much stuff because it was right after Christmas, so there was all the extra stuff.
Yeah.
And I go to pick up, and sorry everybody about my son in the background. And so I go to pick up one of the bags to throw it up in the truck, and like it was getting pretty full. So I go to pick it up, and of course these folks were using like the cheapest garbage bags known to man.
Sure.
Broke all over me, cat litter, like just disgustingness all down me. I'm like, oh my God, and so I had to rebag it all, put it back up in the truck. tarp it. I'm going to Hiram Hollow, and the tarp blows off, and bags of garbage go everywhere. Like, if you know, do you know Hiram Hollow?
No.
So it's over in like Gansevoort, and like, I mean, there's a left-hand turn that you take from Route 9 to get to Hiram Hollow, and I was like maybe a quarter of a mile from that turn, and this tarp blows off, and there's garbage bags everywhere, and I pull over and I'm doing it, and a state trooper comes by. I end up getting a ticket. Like, I was like, that is it. I'm done. I called.
It's not worth a couple $100. That's probably what the ticket's going to cost.
No, there was a garbage company that I don't think is even in business anymore called JP Trucking out of Hudson Falls. I called JP Trucking. I was like, hey, I've got these accounts. You guys want them? Yeah. And they're like, yeah, we'll take them. Like, great. Like, yeah, I'm like, you can have the bins. I had invested in bins.
Wow.
Like, I was like done.
Oh, wow. Did you have like a name?
It was the Shield Investment Real Estate was the name of my company that we did. And I didn't have like a trucking or a garbage company, but it was worst.
Oh, horror stories,
thing.
man.
It's terrible.
I've had tenants be like, oh, there's a little plumbing leak in the basement. Go down, there's poop coming out of the drain. Anyways. So, and then what do? You got to
put on your waders.
I did. That's exactly what you do.
Yeah.
You put on your waders and take out the vacuum. And,
oh, God.
Yeah. But
that was one thing I always made sure I did not know anything about plumbing. So that I wouldn't have, because if something happened plumbing wise, I'm like, I don't know how. Yeah, I got to get somebody in here. I can't do that.
Yeah, my dad showed me how to do plumbing. So thanks, Dad.
Yeah, is that a gift? I don't know.
I know. Yeah, well,
I did learn how to change a toilet.
Yeah,
that was something I did. I haven't done it in a long time. I don't know if I could still do it. Changing the wax seal. I mean, it wasn't overly complicated.
Let's try it out.
Yeah. I think I need a new toilet somewhere. Come on, everybody. It's gonna be a how-to video. We'll put it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Amazing.
That's awesome.
Amazing. Yeah. So what does the future look like for Mr. T's Home Services?
Like I was telling you earlier, I think the growth. I'd like to get some people working under me.
Yeah.
Probably up to 3. I think that's a good number, and then I could be able to have like a lawn care, do more snow removal, those sort of things that are just kind of more consistent, I guess, in a sense. And expected, that's my goal. And then just have like someone else to work with me, like an apprentice. Yeah. So, and it's just finding that person. I thought I found that person a few times. Mm-hmm. It's just, being consistent. The thing is like, you don't necessarily need to have like a trade to do this stuff, but you got to have some common sense. And a lot of times I just need someone to hold, like the sheetrock or the board or those sort of things. I do a lot of decking. So I need somebody willing and to help me. Josh said he was going to help me, which is cool.
Did he help you?
I have not had his, but I will take him up when I told him when I had a big project and it's going to happen. But it's finding someone that I can kind of, rely upon. But it's hard. It's hard to find someone that wants to show up and has their own ride. And I don't, I've had to pick people up. I've had to do all that. And it's just like,
that's interesting you say that. I remember when I had my property management company, there was definitely, I had like my main guy and he was great. Yeah. He could do anything and everything, but I had to go pick him up and I had to bring him home and it was a bit of a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
Like,
cause it's,
well, yeah, of course he lived like exit 16 too. So I'd have to go and I remember like we were doing snow and so it'd be like a snowstorm. I'd have to drive down exit 16, pick him up, come all the way back to Glens Falls and start pushing snow and shoveling sidewalks.
And that's kind of where I'm at right now. So I'm like, I want to get entangled with that because I think naturally if something happens to me, I want this, to keep going and growing, so I don't have to be here right, all the time. So I can kind of oversee it. That's the eventual growth of where I would like to be. But, as of right now, I'm content with where I'm at, but I'd like it to grow to that, so because I do have, several accounts and that's, what I depend on. So, and they depend on me. So I'd like it to grow. And what happens is I'm doing one person's and the neighbor comes over, they see the job I'm doing and they're like, oh, that's it. So it always makes me think like, what do you mean that's it? That's what, and I'm like, I know what I'm making. They're happy. I'm happy. So I don't, I try not to charge too much. I just don't think, I don't know. I like the repeat business. I like that. Yeah. So it works out for both. I like working within people's budgets. So
So I know you kind of said it earlier, but just one more time, give everybody kind of a rundown of the types of things that you're doing for folks.
Yeah, so I did this summer a lot of like concrete repair, like so like going in the garages, resurfacing the garage, resanding them down, and then putting like a polyurea solution on it. It looks beautiful. Yeah, it's very very aesthetic. So it's refinishing a lot of concretes in the basements too, and then light carpentry. I mean, I've done a ton of carpentry work, but light carpentry, I'd like to say, a lot of deck repairs, Trex. So I'll pull up, the existing deck and put down Trex, those sort of things, which are way more cost effective in the long run. It does cost more up front, but once you get it laid, it's there. You don't have to paint it, stain it, every 5 years. I mean, if we even get 5 years out of that stuff. And I do a lot of plumbing repairs. So I do a lot of like faucets and sinks and bathroom repairs, like you were saying about the toilet, those sort of things. Changing, I have one on Monday I have to change out. But,
So a lot of the handyman kind of stuff.
It is. It's not big. I try not to do anything because my insurance doesn't really cover me to knock out walls. Sure. So it has to be more existing. Yeah. So I can do light switches that are there, those sort of things. Yeah. Most of the stuff I do has to be existing. So that's the handyman thing. Yeah. Yeah. But if you want to be like a contractor, you have to have other insurance, other liability. Yeah.
No, listen, I think that's huge, to be honest with you, because a lot of people that I talk to want to be contractors and they don't want to be handy men or women. And I just think there's a huge opportunity in that space.
I think there is. Actually, there is. I know there is.
Yeah, you know there is. You're doing it every day, right?
It's been 3 years now almost.
Yeah.
It's just like, it happens real quick, just like doing that full time has been 3 years, And like I said, I have about between 35 and 40 clients that I regularly help.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah,
it's a good client base.
It's a good client base. I wish I had more, but that's always growing. And
how do I get a hoodie?
You like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can get you one.
You know really?
A guy? I have a guy.
You got a guy?
Yeah. That's awesome. My wife has a shirt now, and I have to get my son a shirt, because he actually helps me, like I said, doing some things. Yeah. So, yeah. So we're all,
Well, it's funny when you were talking about that. It reminded me of Devin Kamengay from Kamengay Construction he's out of the Troy market. Mm-hmm. And so we had interviewed him a couple years ago, and he was a school administrator actually, and then went out on his own as a general contractor and doing mostly his own work. Mm-hmm. But same thing, he was like, he's like, I don't know if I really want to get employees. He's like, I wouldn't mind finding an apprentice, kind of similar to what you're saying. That. Yeah. And then, but what he said was, so we interviewed him again just a couple weeks ago, and it had been a couple of years, and so I'm like, so did you find that apprentice? Yeah. He's like, actually, my son's working with me, and that's really cool. So kind of like with what you're saying. Yeah.
Like I said, he's 6 though.
Yeah.
But let me tell you what.
I don't think child labor laws apply when it's family, right?
But, it's just showing him the ropes, having him meet people. I think at this age, just to come along and hear dad talk to people, I think that's very helpful for a young mind, to see. Yeah, it's fun. It is fun,
Yeah, it's just cool doing it with your boy, right?
And he's just my boy. So, it's awesome. But, yeah, and then it's a day out with him. I mean, I don't have to work by myself, talk to myself all day. I can talk to
Anyways. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
If people want to get a hold of you, they want to learn more about you, or they maybe want to have you come and look at something they've got going on, how do they find you?
Well, I have obviously my phone number. Mm-hmm. So is it all right to?
Yeah. You can say it if you want.
Yeah. At 518-605-0743, and that's the only phone for Mr. T's. And then I have an email address. It's just Mr. T's Total Home Care @gmail.com. Okay. So you can email me, and then I usually respond, or through Thumbtack. Those are the 3 ways to find me. And then my virtual store is Thumbtack, which is really cool. So they can look up everything on there, like I was telling you earlier. Very about nice. The reviews and yeah.
Do you get a Google business page yet?
No.
We got to sort that out.
Yeah, I know a guy.
That's a huge one. Yeah. Yeah.
I would love. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a simple one too. You can sort that out.
Okay.
And Taylor, if you want, put his email address in the show notes too. That way, if someone hears this, they can
Thank
click
you.
on it.
Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to help
Appreciate
any way
you.
we can. Yeah.
I know. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for coming out to the farm.
Always.
It's always nice when people come out here. It's way better than doing like Zoom and things like that. And you get to have my son in the background screaming and yelling, so that's always fun.
It's fine. It's like white noise for me. Man.
I know,
I'm gonna
yeah.
be honest with you. It's kind of like nice, like comforting hearing another little voice.
I know anyone with a 3 to 6 year old listening to this is probably like, I didn't even hear a kid.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what is Mike talking about? He's walking away.
Well, thanks for coming out, and I'm excited about Camp 2 in the spring.
Oh man,
Fishing,
Oof.
with Josh Coons. Josh, you're getting a lot of play on this podcast.
Yeah, buddy.
We actually, I hadn't considered when we were talking about the date for that, by the way, but it sounds like the ice might still be on the lake at that point, so we may have to, we may have to push it a week or two, because you can't get to it without getting on a boat. So, but
I didn't know
I'm
that.
excited.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
another
it's been fun. You guys are gonna love it. You guys are gonna love it. The fishing,
So excited.
Fishing is amazing. I'm not telling anybody where it is though.
No.
Know where our secret fishing.
Yeah, what are you talking
spots
about?
are.
Cook camp.
Yeah, I don't even know why I mentioned it. But look at my son stealing snacks out of the pantry. Everyone, you can't see him, but we can see him. He's like
Into the peanuts.
He finally was quiet, and it was because he was sneaking into the pantry to grab snacks.
That's awesome.
Stinker. All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening. Trav, thanks again for coming out.
Thanks for having
really
me,
appreciate it. Thank you to our community partners one more time. Really appreciate the support that you guys give us and help make all this stuff possible. So give those guys a look-see-loo on their websites. And see you guys next week.